Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 314 of a year of change. Today I want to sort of, well, first of all, I always start these off that way. I want to sort of do this. No, I want to do this. Just sort of give you a quick day early, or, well, an update a day earlier. Feeling anxious the past couple of days, haven't really been eating well or anything else. And just in general, just kind of feeling bleh. So I've gotten back on my proper schedule. The training has ended early, which is great. So I'm actually back on my real schedule now. It's only 2 hours, but it does make a difference. And, you know, just sort of eating properly again, getting back into the groove of things and feeling better in general. And it's amazing just what a difference a couple of days will make. Like 2 days ago, I was feeling like hell. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere, and talked about actually hitting like a major wall and saying, I just don't want to go or do or say or think anything. But today I feel much, much better, sort of back on track and things. And with that, of course, comes the careful and really sort of trying to analyze everything that you're thinking, because we've gone through this so many times before where we have a shitty week and we think, oh, I don't want to do anything. I have no motivation to do anything. And then you get your, whatever you call it, dander up, your excitement going, gumption, whatever you want to call it. And then that's when you just sort of get all gung-ho and you think, no, I want to get back into this and do this and this and this and this. And it's a little bit different than us sort of quitting and then starting and quitting and starting like we always did before. But it's in the same vein. So, I am still a little bit concerned about that. But, as I say, a couple of days ago, I wasn't eating properly. I just sort of had a few days where, oh, by the way, I thought I had stayed under. I'm a dirty fucking liar. I did not stay under at all. I went back after I had recorded that and went, no, I still stayed under. I wasn't eating properly, but I stayed under. And I'm going through, I'm like, no, I didn't count that. I didn't count that. I didn't track my coffee. I didn't track, there was another thing that I didn't track that I forgot. So, yeah, on top of everything else, I went over for this week. 2 or 3 days I went over, actually. So, not good in general. And even yesterday, anyway, I'll talk about yesterday. Yesterday, I didn't even really do my treadmill. I did 2 intervals of jogging and then walked the rest of the way. Could not bring myself to get going again. So we'll see what happens in the next coming days. But just everything all over just was not really meh. But yesterday I did something a little bit different. That I went out and actually I've talked about this before, where I feel like I'm jumping all over the place. We'll stick to one topic. I feel like I've talked about this, or feel like I'm going all over the place. I have talked about this before, that every couple of weeks, me and a bunch of friends get together, go over to a friend's house, and those are the days when I think, you know what, I've eaten properly throughout the day, I've eaten properly throughout the week. And, if I have some chips, and last time, unfortunately, I had 6 donut holes, then it's going to slow me down. It's not going to break me. It's still going to be okay. I'm not eating to capacity. I'm not pigging out or anything like that. And this is one of those weekends. And I found that as it's been approaching, especially where I've had this week where I just have not been up to par at all, not just health-wise, but just in my eating habits and my exercise, all the other stuff, just haven't really been following through the way that I should be. That I've been sort of not dreading it, but there's been this little concern in the back of my head, and it's one of those things that you don't really notice until it goes, oh, that's probably why. And because that's my day when I go and I don't really need to worry about it, and it's that old feeling of guilt coming back in going, you're going to do this and you really shouldn't, especially this week. Like, you shouldn't be doing it at all, honestly. And we'll get to that in a second, but you shouldn't be doing this at all. You should really stick to your proper eating habits, because obviously when you don't and you say, oh, I'm just going to have a day where I can eat poorly, then you feel like shit for days afterwards. So yesterday when I was out, I went and I got something I haven't bought in a very, very long time. I thought I don't want to sort of go and get like snacks and chips and cookies and all the other stuff. And usually, I leave it there. I share it with everybody else. It's fine. But it's something that I really shouldn't be doing. And it's a little bit different than being in a situation where you go, oh, I know I shouldn't be doing that, and I don't want to do that. And I think that's where this sort of, not really a big step, but this little miniature epiphany, a miniature-iphany, whatever you want to call it, teeny tiny, tiny idea popped in my head, and everything sort of fell into place. And it's not that I mean, part of me still wants to have that cookies and cakes and everything else. We're always going to have that. We're always going to have those cravings because it's such a huge part of our lives. It's always been such a huge part of just everything. I mean, our lives revolved around food in every second of every day. And when you think about it, there's stuff that we're eating now that we never would have eaten back then, just in stuff that we legitimately enjoy just because now it's health food, it's gross, it's disgusting. But our tastes have changed and our attitudes have changed and everything else. But there is still that feeling of, oh, I really shouldn't be doing this because, I'm trying to lose weight and I shouldn't do that. And if I do, I'm going to feel guilty and everything else. But there's a big difference between that and saying, you know what, I don't want to eat that. Not because it's not good, not because I don't like it or anything else, but because I want to stay on the path that I'm on. And it's a little bit different. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing saying, I'm not going to eat that junk food. But it's different when you go, I don't want to. Like, you're still going to have those just base cravings. Like, I want salt, I want sugar, I want something. It's, it's not going to be quite the same as cake. But it's not the same, I don't know if I'm explaining this well at all. It's not the same feeling that I used to have. Where, I don't want to have that because it's going to make me fat. It's now, I don't want to have that because I'm probably not going to feel good afterwards. And there are better alternatives that'll keep me on the path I'm going. And it's not that I'm depriving myself. It's not that I'm cutting out anything. It's just that it's a different sort of want. It's a different need. I can't even really explain it, obviously. But last night I went out and I bought dates, which I haven't bought in a very, very long time. I bought the roasted peas again. All the little snacks that we sort of had been talking about through the past year. Not great, obviously, by any stretch of the imagination. There's still a lot of sodium in there. There's still, I got peanuts, which, although fat content, we've talked about that. It's a little bit, anyway. Not the best snack food, of course. Dates, a ton of sugar in them, but still better than the cookies and cakes and everything else. And I enjoy it. I enjoy dates. I enjoy the roasted peas. I enjoy those things. And it sort of dawned on me, why am I not getting that, on these weekends instead of all the other stuff? Because the other stuff I simply don't need. And obviously, I don't feel well after I eat it. Not that I have a chip and then am sick for 3 days. But just in the past 2 or 3 days when I was just eating really poorly, it had a major effect. And I know that sounds kind of weird and sort of, because I thought of this as well, that it's a coincidence. You're either sick or it's all in your head or you're just one of those pretentious douchebags that goes, oh, I can't possibly have that. It'll make me sick because I'm not used to it because I'm so healthy. I'm not. But I have felt like shit for the past 2 or 3 days. And then when I got away from eating, like the plastic cheese and all the other stuff, and went, no, I'm going to start eating, my fruit again and have a proper breakfast and, just eat how I've been eating over the past few months. I started feeling better almost right away. And it's been a long time since I've had the dates or the peas and stuff like that, so I don't know how it's going to affect me, but I can't imagine it's going to be in a really, really bad way because you're still getting a lot of stuff out of it. And it's so difficult to try to explain that, at that point, that's sort of when I made that connection as well, thinking, oh, well, maybe that's why I've sort of been hesitant to go out during the weekend, because I know in the back of my head, yeah, there's stuff there that I still physically crave, but I don't want to eat it. But we have so much more control now. I mean, before it would have been, I shouldn't be eating these, and just eat the entire box or basket or bucket or whatever it is that we have our food in, and just nonstop eating all the time. And it's so different now because I can have something that is bad for me, but it's not the same as going, okay, well, I enjoy that, so now I need to eat as much of it as I can until I'm just packed, until I'm full. Our eating habits have changed, and what we're going after when we have cravings and things like that have changed. But again, I don't feel like I'm explaining this at all. And some of you are probably sitting there going, what? Is there a point? And the truth is, no, there is not. I don't think so. Anyway, it's just sort of, having an idea that comes to you and going, well, this might be why you haven't been feeling well. I mean, I knew why I wasn't feeling well. I think just because just not eating well at all. I'm not doing my exercise, which, of course, when you're not feeling well, you don't want to do the exercise, and that makes you feel worse. And then, of course, then you're still eating poorly and everything else. And, I mean, obviously, there are still going to be times when I'm going to want to have, pizza or macaroni and cheese or bad things. But it's different, planning something like that or saying, you know what, I'm going to have something tonight that I don't care about. I'll go over, I'll have a cheat meal, whatever you want to call it. And again, I know I've sort of really talked about that a lot over the past couple of weeks, and I don't want to put something in our head going, you know what, you can have cheat meals whenever you want. We really can. I'm not to that stage, and I'm sure many of you are not at that stage yet, where, here's the thing. We kind of are. We're at a stage now where we've lost a lot of weight. Like you're at your halfway point, or you're past your halfway point, or you're getting close to, whatever your goal is. So, there's part of us that thinks, you know what, I can sort of relax it a little bit. I can go back and have, those things that I used to love all the time. But that's the key, is that we used to love them all the time. And although we still crave them, I think a lot of that is just the familiarity with it. There's stuff that I crave that I know if I ate, not even just the quantity, but just in general. Like I talked about nachos before, and I'm still a little wary about trying those for the first time. Because, number one, I don't know really what serving size to use. But two, I don't know how I'm going to respond to that much cheese and fat and salt and everything all together. Not just that my body's going to go, oh, well, I'm all out of whack. I don't know what's going on. Just the taste itself. I haven't had a mouthful of cheese. Just a mouthful. And I do mean a mouthful of just melted cheese in 10 months. I don't know if it's going to be as good as I remember. But on the other hand, of course, I don't really want to try because I'm sort of past that. But we still crave those things. But it's like smoking that, you're still going to crave cigarettes. I know people that have quit for years. I still do. I've, probably at least once during this entire year. There have been probably once or twice I go, God, I really want a cigarette. And then immediately you're like, no, I don't. It's because it's familiar. It's like going back to an ex. That's what this is like. Food is a horrible, horrible ex. You've moved on. You've got someone that's better. Go for them. But inevitably, someone goes back to an ex and goes, well, it's okay. I can change them. Even though they make me sick and they're covered in cheese. That didn't come out right at all. If you play your cards right, they can be covered in cheese. Anyway, those behaviors that we've sort of gotten rid of over the past few months, they're still very strong because we did it for so long. We're 10 months in. We aren't even a full year in getting rid of habits that were formed years and years ago and that we've just been following day by day for a very, very long time. So, of course, those are going to be there. And just like any other addiction that's out there, you're going to get those cravings from time to time. But I really do think that, not in every situation, obviously, but in a lot of those situations, if I was to indulge and say, you know what, I'm going to go for the nachos, for example, I don't know if it would be good. I don't know if I would even enjoy it. I probably would, flavor-wise, go, oh, this is great, I remember this, and then just go, I have a stomach full of melted cheese. I have half a pound of cheese in me. I'm gonna throw up everywhere because that's just, it's so different from what we're eating now and how we respond to food and how we react to it, which is the exact same thing. It's, I don't know, it's different. It's not an experiment I really want to try. I don't want to sort of say, okay, well, this weekend I'm going to try nachos and ribs and pizza and all the other stuff, because I know that just having 2 days in a row, or 3 days technically in a row of just macaroni and cheese is not good. It just makes me feel like shit. And it's still fine. You can have it from time to time, but I just don't think that I don't think it has the same holdovers that it did. I think that's probably the best way to explain it, that we might still crave it, but I think if we ever actually indulged in it, I don't think we would feel good at all. And we really shouldn't. We probably didn't feel good back then either. But that immediate gratification of, having that food and, the just eating as much as we can and blocking everything else out because nothing else really mattered except what we were eating at the time. I think that's really what we were addicted to. I don't think it was the food itself. I mean, obviously, we didn't do the same thing with salads and stuff like that because we want lots of salt and lots of sugar and lots of fat and all the stuff that's bad for us. And we've talked about that as well. But the aftermath of that, I mean, that was always just set aside. It doesn't matter because what we're doing right now matters more than how shitty I'm going to feel about myself and the guilt and the self-loathing and everything else that comes hand in hand with that. That's on the back burner while we're sort of in that moment. But because we're sort of looking at things a little bit differently, maybe that's part of it. Is that I'm looking at that and going, no, I know what it's going to be like. I know the physical feeling that it's going to give me. That I'm too stuffed. I don't want to do anything. I don't feel good. The emotional shit that goes along with it, the psychological guilt that sort of accompanies it, all that stuff. And it may not be a conscious thing yet. It might just be something, and maybe that's why it's sort of turning us away, going, yeah, I have those cravings, but I haven't indulged in those yet. I haven't gone out and eaten an entire pound cake, which I did many, many times. I haven't had nachos in, 10 months at this point. Still a little wary about that. I have had pizza a couple of times, and it hasn't really felt right because it's a lot of stuff that I'm just not used to anymore. Macaroni and cheese, obviously, during this week when I was eating poorly. So all that stuff. I mean, we're going to react differently to it. Physiologically, we're going to react to it differently psychologically and emotionally and everything else. And maybe we're getting to a point where we don't have that attachment anymore. That the physical attachment part of it, like that craving is still going to be there. But all the emotional baggage that comes hand in hand with that is, because we've been away from it from so long, maybe it's gone too. And I do understand that this does sound like a drunk going, I'm never going to drink again, and this time I mean it. And it's not. I'm very much aware of that. It's not, hey, gung-ho, I'm going to start exercising twice as much today and, get back on track to what I'm trying to do. But I am going to get back on track to what I'm trying to do. But I started it, I started doing that again today, yesterday, and feel much, much better. And I want to stay feeling this way. I don't like feeling shitty because I'm eating stuff that is just high fat and high sugar and high salt and all the bad stuff. And it's not like the douchebaggy, it's high salt and everything. I legitimately don't feel well after I'm eating it. And it doesn't have that same, hey, I'm in the moment, nothing else matters feeling to it anymore when I'm eating it either. So, anyway, I don't know if I've explained myself at all. But for any of you that are out there that are still having those cravings and you think, you know what, I want an entire pie. I have eaten an entire pie as well, all by myself. Even the crust. You hollow out the whole thing, eat the whole thing. For those of you that are out there that are still having those, chances are, unless you're sort of just starting in, at this stage, at this late date, I think that there's going to be a very different feel if we were to indulge in that. If we were to go after what we've been craving, whether it's nachos or whether it's cake or cookies or, chips, whatever it is, that whatever your crutch was, that you just sort of like, that's my go-to food. Or my go-to crutch. If you ate crutches, I don't know what you eat. But whatever it was, everyone has probably 2 or 3 different foods that they went, this was my thing. This is what I ate all the time. For me, it was pizza, nachos, hot dogs, and ribs. Those are my top 4. I haven't had hot dogs either in a very, very long time. But again, it's just, although those cravings are going to be there, I think that if we actually were to indulge in them, I don't think it would turn out well. I think that we would probably not, and not even eating the way that we used to eat, just having it, I can tell you, just having it as 2 or 3 regular meals over the course of 2 or 3 days, getting away from the fruits and the vegetables and, the healthier stuff that I've been eating, even that little bit, it's enough to, not to sort of knock me out of commission or anything, but it's enough to make me lazy again. It's probably the best way to look at it. And I think it would probably be the same for a lot of us out there, that if you did indulge in those old eating habits again, that you wouldn't be able to take in the amount that we used to. That's for sure. It's going to last a hell of a lot longer. And we talked about this a little while ago too. Chances are we felt that way when we were, eating that way. We still felt, sick and lethargic and just shitty all the time, but we felt that way all the time, so it was normal. And it's so different now. Whether you want to talk about energy levels or, not always being sick, not always being tired, not always aching, whatever it is that you want to talk about, We are different now. And I think that these 10 months have paid off. And coming to a realization where I think, you know what, I can still go out, still have, fun with my friends, but my snacks are different now. And yeah, they're great when I'm having them, but maybe that's part of the reason why, you have 2 or 3 and you're like, that's enough. I'm okay. But I'm going to try this. I want to sort of get back to some of the old snacks that I haven't had in a very long time. And I don't know if anyone there has had a date ever. They probably have like date squares or something. So I'm still going to share a little bit. But the rest of the stuff is mine. But if I can sort of lean towards stuff like that, obviously I could go to just take the road and just say, you know what, take the road. So stupid. Just sort of, what am I trying to say? I could just simply say, you know what, no, I'm just going to eat regularly throughout the day, and that'll be fine. It's sort of part of, and again, it's what I'm used to. So I think that might be part of the reason why when I would go there, then those were the snacks I would have, because that's just what we're accustomed to. So we've broken so many bad habits over the past 10 months. I think it's fine that we can break a few more. And who cares? Let them have cookies, let them have the cakes and stuff like that. If I want one, I know I can have one. But I've only got another 6 weeks to go with this. We all do. We're at a stage now, we have 51 days left. So yeah. So around 6 weeks. And I really, really, really would like to end this year at the 100-pound mark. It's going to be tough, but I think I can do it if I sort of just say, you know what, I need to really be in control of all the little things that I've sort of let go, and do things properly and not have weeks like I did this week. And I think it's doable. But again, just like always, I'm not going to get to a point where I think, okay, well, I have 5 days left and I have 5 pounds, so time to starve myself and run 5 miles a day. Well, no, I'm not doing that much anyway. Trying not to burp. There we go. I'm not going to go to extremes. I'm going to stay on target, stay doing what we've been doing. I don't want to turn this into something that just at the last second I go, okay, now we have to fast and you can only drink water and you can only smell tea and nothing else. If I don't make it to that 100-pound mark, then I'm not going to make it to the 100-pound mark. It's not going to be the end of the world because I know it's coming up. It's a nice round number. I'd like to end that year on a high note. I honestly don't think I'm going to because that's still where I stand right now. It's around 3 pounds a week, which is a little too much. And I kind of don't want to push myself just to get to that point. But I think if I sort of reevaluate things, go back to our healthier alternatives to snacks, get away from going, oh, it's okay, it's a cheat day, then I think it'll be okay because I don't need them. Obviously, I still have a tremendous distance to go. And it's just doing nothing but slowing me down. And although it's not going to have any real lasting effect on me, because I'm not eating it all the time, all day. Even that one night every 2 weeks, or 2 or 3 weeks, I just don't need it. And at this point, psychologically and emotionally, I don't need it anymore either, which is really, really nice. So anyway, I don't know if any of this made any sense whatsoever. I'm kind of hoping it does to at least a couple of you that are going, yeah, okay, I kind of get it. But it took 2 or 3, sort of, what am I thinking of? 2 or 3 turns of me thinking. I don't know how to explain that. It took a while for all these things just to sort of sink in and all the pieces to fit together before I went, oh, maybe that's why. And overall, feel a little bit better. But as I say, I'm not just going, this time I mean it. I'm never going to drink again. I'm still going to drink. I'm still going to have, shitty food from time to time. Because I've done this before. But overall, at least I'm a little bit more aware of things. And, I think it's going to be a bit easier to say, you know what? No, it's fine. I'm going to, this is my cheat day, but I'm having dates instead of donuts. Which is always, always, always going to be much, much better for what we're trying to do. Anyway, this has probably gone on for far too long, and yes, it has. So, hopefully, I've been very clear. I don't think I have, but for any of you that are out there that are making that connection or have had this sort of little baby epiphany, trying to think of a good word to mix the two of them together. Mini epiphany? Epiphany? There you go. Nailed it. For any of you that are out there that are sort of having these moments, stick with it. because although it's, I mean, we had, ups and downs and things where you go, oh, well, this is, I'm so much better now because of this. I mean, we can sort of temper that with going, I need to be aware that maybe this is just another little boost. But if it's just a little boost, it's going to keep us going for another few weeks, then let it keep us going for another few weeks. And then we might fall into, a bit of a slump again. But we always seem to come out in the long run. And as we continue on, we're just going to stick with what we're trying to do, and we're going to have those little ups and downs. But overall, we're still making progress, and I think that's what really counts. So anyway, I'm just going to have 5 different endings on this unless I shut the fuck up. So, on that note, thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.